guys, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And I know it's been a little bit since I posted my last video, so I feel like I owe you guys a little bit of an explanation as to where I have been and why I have not posted. We have been experiencing what I like to call random technical difficulties here at the House of Movie Chatter. And they say bad things happen in threes, so 3 things did happen, so I'm hoping that my bad luck, at least for now, is behind me for a little bit and I get a little reprieve here. First thing that happened is that the Wi-Fi in the house totally died. I got new equipment, I tried to fix it, nothing. So we had to get that taken care of because that's never a good thing, especially when you're trying to upload content. Not going to happen. The second thing that happened is that my relatively new car died in the garage and I had it flatbedded away to the dealer who misplaced my car. Now, I don't really know how you misplace a car, but my car was missing for 3 days. And they finally found it, and hopefully I'm going to get it back in one piece repaired this week. But the most important thing that happened is my little dog, Sugar, who I just adopted 3 months ago. She's a 5-year-old dachshund, so I didn't know much about her health history. She had to have an unexpected and somewhat emergent surgical procedure, and that required all hands on deck to get her healthy enough for the surgery and then to help nurse her after the surgery and back to good health. Everything went fine. She's going to live a long, happy life with us, and I am just happy that we could give her the health care that she has desperately needed and that she can be a happy little girl going forward. So that's all. That's what happened. That's why I was off the grid for a while, but I'm back, and I know I owe you guys a Criterion segment, so I'm just going to get right into it with the 3 films that I picked for today. And this first one is actually, this was a viewer recommendation. You know I love recommendations. And this one is spine number 896, The Lure. And this one was done in 2015. It's a Polish film with English subtitles. And we start out and we meet our 2 main characters, their sisters, Golden and Silver, and they are mermaids. And they're kind of hanging out in the ocean by the beach, and they meet a family. When they come on land, they lose their tail and they have legs. So they meet this family and they convince them to let them come live with them. And unfortunately, these mermaids also feed on humans. And they convince the family that they won't eat them while they're living with them, and they find out that the family has a band, and the mermaids can sing, so they want to be in their lounge act. And so the family reluctantly agrees. They take them in. Now they're living with them, and these girls are like, I want to say they're young teenagers, like 17, 18 years old. So in the movie description, they call it kind of a coming-of-age movie. Because it also has a little bit of a love story in it, which is kind of weird for a horror musical, but it's in there. They make it work. Anyway, so they're living with the humans. They convince them they're not going to eat them, and they're becoming really popular around the bar scene with the lounge acts. Everybody loves them. They sing beautifully. And what happens is Golden, the one sister Golden, is very focused on the task at hand. She just wants to do what they need to do because her goal is to get them to America, from Poland to America. Silver, and like I said, they feed on humans. When they need to eat, they feed on humans. And Golden has no problem eating whatever. She will eat whatever, whoever, whenever. And Silver just starts to develop a little more of a soft spot, especially for one gentleman who's in the band. And Golden keeps telling her, don't fall in love with him. If you feel like you're going to fall in love with him, you need to eat him. So this is the conflict that's going on between the sisters, and that's like kind of the love story that's brewing. And I don't want to go into too much more about the story because I don't want to do any spoilers. I just want to give you enough to get you interested in the film because I think this one's definitely worth a look. And like I said, it is a horror musical, so if you like dancing and singing kind of mixed in with your dialogue and your horror elements, I think you're going to like this one. If you liked films like Sweeney Todd, things like that, kind of along the same lines. This is not The Little Mermaid. So I can tell you that the cinematography is very cool. The special effects are really well done. And when the girls start to get ready to feed, they transform from these beautiful girls into these really monstrous looking creatures. And again, the special effects were great. And the way they did the mouths on the girls kind of reminded me of the vampires in 30 Days of Night, who I have said in previous videos were some of the scariest vampires I had ever seen. And they kind of reminded me of that. Like, they just totally transform. And I think overall this was a really well done movie. I didn't mind the musical numbers, and I am admittedly not the biggest fan of musicals, but I really enjoyed this one. And what I found is I watched the movie, I went to bed, Didn't think much of it. Woke up the next morning and it was in my head. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the plot, the special effects, the music, the whole thing. And this definitely requires more than one watch. So I know I'm definitely going to be checking it out again. And overall, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, from the plot to the special effects, the cinematography, everything, it really worked. And I thought the characters were really well done. They were developed well, and I just enjoyed it. So for the person who recommended it, thank you. And if you're into this kind of thing, definitely put it on your list for the next sale that comes up. And like I said, this was done in 2015. It's 92 minutes long. It's in Polish with English subtitles. It has a high definition transfer. It has some pretty cool extras. It's got a program about the making of the film. It has some interviews with the director, the choreographer, and the screenwriter. So they have some really cool interviews, because like I said, there's a lot of singing and dancing, so there was a lot of choreography that went into this, and they did a really good job. And then they talk about, there's an essay by novelist, playwright, and storyteller Angela Lavelle. So on the inside, there's no artwork, but you get the pink disc that just says the lore on it. And then it's kind of it's a little leaflet, not the book. It's a leaflet, the essay. We have, this is Silver, and this is the gentleman who she is attracted to and trying not to eat. And we have our essay about the film, and then we have some shots from the film. Oh, there's some more over here. Hopefully you can see that. Again, more technical difficulties, still with the camera that won't focus. But I think I'm going to buy a new one. Let me know in the comments if you can suggest any good DSLR cameras that aren't going to break the bank down below. I'm looking at a Canon. Okay, so the lore, spine number 896. Definitely give it a look. Put it on your list if you like horror musicals. And the next one. All these films are kind of dark themes. They're not all horror, but they're definitely dark. This one is spine number 541. It's called Night of the Hunter, and it stars Robert Mitchum. And the film starts out, it was done in 1955. It starts out when we meet Robert Mitchum's character, and he is a wanderer. He's a self-proclaimed man of the cloth who also happens to be a serial killer, and he preys on single women or widows who he believes have money, and what he does is he gains their affections and then he murders them and moves on. So we meet him, and he's doing what he does, and he ends up in prison. He's convicted of the crime, and he is put in prison. We then meet our second character who has robbed a bank. He has stolen $10,000, which he gives to his young son, and he says to him, I have two things to ask of you. Bury this money, hide the money, do whatever you need to do with it so no one finds it, and don't tell anyone where it is, and you need to take care of your little sister. He has a sister who's much younger than him, and he's like, take care of your sister and never, ever tell anyone where this money is. So the father is then taken away by the police. He is jailed, he's convicted, and he is sentenced to death. In the meantime, he is sharing a jail cell with Robert Mitchum's character, the serial killer, who was not sentenced to death. I don't know why he wasn't sentenced to death, but he wasn't, and the bank robber was. And in the course of their sharing a cell, the guy who robbed the bank happens to disclose that information to Robert Mitchum and tells him of his family and that he feels bad leaving them behind. They're going to be alone. All they have is this money that he left them. So, of course, when Robert Mitchum gets out, the first thing he does is hunt down this family, and he starts to gain the attention of the widow of the man who was hanged. And we have our story, and he knows that the little boy is the only one who really knows where the money is, and he's trying his best to gain his friendship and his trust so that he can find out where this money is. The mother doesn't know, the boy won't say anything, the little sister won't say anything. And let me tell you, Robert Mitchum's performance is unbelievably creepy in this one. He will make your skin crawl. He is so diabolical and so frightening. He's really, really dark, and he's really, really good. And I don't want to go into too much more about the story because I'll end up giving everything away. And again, like I said, I don't like to give you guys more than you need to know because I want you to make up your own minds if these are movies that sound like there's something you want to watch. Anyway, obviously he gets in with this family, and his mission becomes finding this $10,000, and he will stop at nothing. He scares the wife, he scares the kids, and he has this really weird song that he sings when he's on the prowl and on the hunt. And it is just a scary, moving, dark, dark movie. So if you like things like that, definitely check out Night of the Hunter, and it's in black and white. It's a really, really great transfer. The cinematography is very solid. The acting is really good. The story is compelling. I mean, it held my attention the whole way through. I was never bored. It's not a long film. It's only 93 minutes, but it's a really good story. The pacing is really good. Everything is on point, and I really enjoyed the whole thing. And like I said, it's a really, really dark, creepy story. It's one of those that just make, just the ick factor is there. And this one, again, from 1955, 93 minutes, it's in black and white and in English. And it is a newly restored digital film transfer. It has audio commentary from the director, Terry Sanders, and film critic F.X. Feeney. So they interview a bunch of people about the film, and they have an interview with Charles Laughton, the biographer, and they have clips from the Ed Sullivan Show featuring cast members and deleted scenes. So that's pretty cool. But they have a lot of good special effects, and they actually have a whole second disc where Charles Laughton, directs the Night of the Hunter, 2.5-hour treasure trove of outtakes and behind-the-scenes footage. So they have a whole disc of extras just with the director and him working with the film. So really good. And it has a full essay book. So this one is really, really chock full of extras. And I will show you the inside, which it's pretty cool. I'll explain this inside. The interior artwork is really pretty cool. He has love and hate tattooed on his knuckles. And when people see that, they question him, because like back in the day, it was just, no, you don't, only bad people did that. And what he says is that it's to remind him that people can choose either love or hate, and it reminds him to always choose love. So yeah, we're going to go with that story. And then we have the disc 2. This is disc 2, which is the special features. And that just has a scene from the movie. And we have the other disc, has a little bit of artwork on it, a very creepy picture of our main character there, if you could see that. So we have that one. And then we have a really nice essay book, really cool essay book. And this is a really big scene in the movie where Robert Mitchum is standing outside the house where the kids and their mother live. And it has a lot of, they holy terror, because he's telling everyone that he's a man of the cloth. He's telling everyone that he is a religious man. And we have all kinds of pictures and essays from the movie. And it's just really, this is a really nice edition. They did a really nice job with this one. And they have a lot, like I said, a lot of good pictures and stills and essays from the film. So I would definitely say that this one's a keeper. I really, really enjoyed this one. Again, it stars Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters in The Night of the Hunter, spine number 541. So definitely put that one on your list to check out. And this last one, this is a classic, and it is based on a young adult novel by the same name. And I am really going to be careful about this one, because this one is so easy to spoil. And I know a lot of us have read the book or seen the movie, or both. But on the chance that either you haven't read the book in some time or you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil anything for you. It is spine number 43, Lord of the Flies. And this one was done, this was the 1963 version. There's also, there was a reboot of it. I forget what year it was, but there's a reboot of it. I haven't seen that one, but I've seen this one a few times, and I love this every time. It starts out during a war, and we see these young boys from a prep school, a boarding school. They're being evacuated from the school, and they're put on a plane, and the plane crashes. So we're now on this island, and we see these boys coming out of the brush, you know, in small groups, 1 or 2 at a time, and they all kind of meet up on this beach, and they're the survivors of the plane crash. And there's a group of them. I would say there's about 20 of them, and they range in age from maybe 14, 15 years old down to maybe 6 or 7 years old. So there's quite a range of kids. And right off the bat, they decide, you know what, we can't just run wild. The only way we're going to survive and get out of here, you know, and the only way we're going to make it until somebody figures out where we are and comes to get us is if we have some sort of leadership and democracy. So we have our three main characters. We have Ralph, Jack, and Piggy. And Piggy is a little bespectacled, heavy-set kid who really doesn't seem to have much to offer in the beginning of the film, but you see as his character arc progresses that he's a little more important by the end of the film, and he's more important than we give him credit for in the beginning, and the other boys as well. And what happens is Jack and Ralph both want to be leaders, and Ralph ends up getting more votes, so he's the leader, and Jack is pretty salty about that because he really wanted to be the leader, and he feels like he's the guy to lead this crowd. So right away you see we have a little bit of divisiveness in the boys. But Ralph he wants to be democratic, and he wants to be diplomatic, and he wants to keep everybody happy and take care of everybody, but he just doesn't have that nasty edge that Jack's character does. So you start to see things and you start to see conflicts, and you have to remember these are a group of young boys who are on an island with no adult supervision, so you can just imagine how rapidly things start to go downhill and how their best laid plans start to fall apart. Their moral compasses are out the window, and just crazy things happen. And the one thing I did take away from this one, I mean, besides all the other things that you see through the course of the movie, the one main thing that I did take away from this one is by the end of the movie, when basically all hell is breaking loose, is how it still feels so relevant today, because the scene, they were actually terrifying, the scenes that go on the island when just the boys are going nuts and there is just chaos going on. And it's like nighttime and they're singing kill, 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 and they're running around with torches and fire, and it looks like a riot. And it looks like any station that you could turn on, any news station that you could turn on when there's a riot going on today, that's what this one looked like. And that is where I felt like there still has social relevance today. This movie holds up even today. And that's all I really want to say about the storyline. See it for yourself. If you've read the book and you haven't seen the movie, you owe it to yourself to see the movie. And you know what, maybe if you want to go back and revisit the book, definitely worth it. I know the book goes into a little more detail than the movie does in certain things, but I think the movie really does an excellent job at, you know, with the adaptation that they do from that novel. I think it's a really well done movie. I think they did a great job. The director did a great job. And it's interesting what they did is they took them to this, they took the actors, they're amateur actors for the most part, they took them to this island and just gave them a basic storyline and had them run wild. Told them, do what you need to do, just get the story done. And they filmed it, but they filmed it without sound, and then they went back to the studio later and dubbed the sound over. So if the sound seems like it's a little weird, like there's a little disconnect between the picture and the sound, it's not bad, but it's definitely different. That's why, because that's the way they shot it. But the transfer they did on this looks beautiful. The storyline is great. The characters, I thought they did a fantastic job, especially for amateurs. They did a great job. The location is really, really good. It's a perfect location for the story they're telling. And I thought this was a great, great adaptation of the story. This is a really, really solid, moving film. And it's a very, very poignant film. It's a very layered film with a lot of social messages to it, and I think it's one that you can watch over and over again and you'll always take away something new. So yeah, Lord of the Flies, it's a good one. And like I said, it's from 1963, it's 90 minutes long, it's in English, and it's in black and white. It's in the 1.37 aspect ratio, so again you have the bars on the side, but it's solid. It looks amazing. It's a brand new restored 4K digital film transfer. Like I said, it is like tack sharp. It looks so good. They have some audio commentary from the director and the producer. They have audio recordings from William Golding, who actually wrote the novel Lord of the Flies. So you hear from him. They have some deleted scenes with optional commentary, and they have a collection of behind the scenes material, including home movies, screen tests, outtakes, and stills. Okay, so we'll take a look inside. And of course you get the essay book, which that's a great shot, a great drawing of Jack and his character, how they, towards the end of the movie when they break into two groups, the one group is they war paint their faces, which is a match of the front cover there. But the inside artwork and the artwork in the essay book is pretty simple. You just have the title on the disc, nothing fancy. And then you have some line drawings of like plants and things from the jungle on the island where the movie takes place. So that's it for the inside. And then you have a 29-page essay book where we hear a lot from Peter Brook, the director, who did a fantastic job with this adaptation. And you have some really nice drawings inside. I think they did a great job. From beginning to end, I think they did a great job with this movie. And I think that the artwork is so fitting and so reflective of the movie itself. But yeah, this is a really nice edition, and if you don't already have it in your collection, I would say this is definitely one that's worth the pickup. Again, it's Spine number 43, Lord of the Flies. Okay, so those are the titles I picked to talk about with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something in the pile that you want to add to your collection. If you guys have any recommendations or requests for future review segments, please let me know in the comments, and if I do have it, I'm happy to take a look at it for you. I want to thank you guys as always for being here and watching. You know I appreciated it. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, leave some comments, subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell so you know when I upload my videos again. I have a lot of cool things coming up. I actually attended Monster Mania Con here in New Jersey this weekend, so I want to show you guys what I picked up, talk to you about the event, who I met, show you some autographs I got. It was a really fun time. I also have a haul video, and I'm getting the room reorganized to do this year's room tour, so I have a lot of fun content planned. And I'm back. I still don't have a car, so I can't get anywhere, so what am I going to do? I'm going to film videos. Alright, and I'm going to be back real soon, but that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys have a great night, and that's a wrap.